Hi there. Yeah, thank you for coming in. I'm so happy to see you. I'm so glad I could get this time. I know. I know we've been going back and forth, right? You're the one that I've been emailing quite a bit. I think so. Yes, that is me, and that rings a bell. Thank you so much. Now, I know that you are interested in our property, and I love that for both of us. Remind me again, were you looking for, we go up to 4 bedrooms? Okay. And let's see. Perfect. So I have your information here. I'm just making sure I have it all pulled up. Yeah, sorry about how chilly it is in here. I know it's kind of a like for me it's kind of like a whiplash of how hot it is outside, and then you come in here and it's freezing. So if you need, we do have hot coffee, tea, cocoa. If you just want to have some hot water with lemon, we can do that as well. Anything you need, we got you. Oh yeah, it's no trouble. No trouble at all. It's actually just like right behind you. There's like a little, yeah, you see it. Okay. Perfect. So I'm getting your information drawn up here. Now, let me see. Uh, 1 second. Okay. I'm getting everything pulled up on my end. And of course, my computer is so slow today. I think maybe it got too cold. Who's to say? Okay, so let's see. All right, so did you have an easy time finding the address? Okay. Yeah, it's definitely one that, using depending on which maps you use to get here, I feel like it's better. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I'm getting everything pulled up. And let's see. Okay. And you said you were looking for how many bedrooms? One more time. Perfect. And then also, how many bathrooms were you looking for as well? Mhm. And are you flexible on that? Is that something that, if there's more or less, that could be good? Let's see. Okay. Let's see here. So we'll go from there. Yeah, just getting extra cozy. Okay, so were you able to look at our floor plans online, or did you want to go over those? Okay, yeah. I always like a refresher too. I mean, for me, it's one thing to like see a name on to see a name like online of a floor plan or a layout or whatever, but it doesn't always like ring a bell when you're hearing it and not actually seeing it. So let me make sure I get those pulled up for you too. Okay, so let's get you all settled in here. Perfect. Yeah, I'm really glad we could get settled, and I'm so sorry. I'm so disorganized today. My bad. It's been a long week for sure. Let me get everything I need opened up, and hopefully it won't take too long. And then let's see. Perfect. Now, I know that we've emailed back and forth, but can I have your first and last name, please? Okay, great. Perfect. Just want to make sure I have the right file pulled up here. All right, so we've got that. Let me open up our application for you because I know you filled out some of the information online, right? Perfect. You just wanted a little bit more information in person. Yeah, totally understandable. I've never moved to a place without seeing it either. So I definitely recommend going in and kind of seeing what the place looks like, what the floor plan's like in person. There's really only so much you can gather from, a floor plan online. It helps to see like where it's at in the building. Okay. So I've got your first and last name, and then can you also verify your phone number? Best number to reach you at. Okay, perfect. So we've got that squared away. So now I will go over the floor plans that we do have, just in case something else kind of, catches your eye, something like that. So right now we do have anywhere between 1 to 3 bedroom apartments available. We also have townhomes, of course. We just call them apartments, but we have anywhere between 1 to 3. We do have 4 bedroom units, but they are currently all rented out at this time. So we can start with the 1 bedroom. We do have a 1 bedroom option as well as a studio option. They're both about 700 to 730 square feet, with the 1 bedroom being a 730 square foot, whereas the studio is just 700 feet. I don't know why it's different. If I'm honest, I'm not an architect. So we do also, those are fairly popular. We do actually have 9 of them available right now. We've had a lot of people moving out from, they're done going to college out here. So we've had a lot of people moving out, but it is also a popular time for people to be moving in. So we do have that as well. And those are actually spread throughout the property. So we do have some on the ground floor, second floor, third floor. Has anyone been able to explain to you the floor plans yet? Okay. And you've seen a little bit online of, like our general information. Yeah, so the way that our ground floor apartments work is we do have some that are on the ground floor, of course, but there are also some that are partially below ground. They have windows that are above ground, of course, and they do also meet all the fire codes, things like that, for being able to be like below ground, but also have the windows be a fire escape. I know that's kind of strange. And then the way that the patio works is it's actually kind of like dug out. It's very fascinating. If we have one available, I'll try to show it to you just because they are kind of neat to look at, if I'm being honest. So, oh, that's our office dog. Yes, we have a comfort dog on staff here. Her name is Lacey. She's a very good girl. Yeah, she just stays in the office with us if you ever need like some snuggles or whatever. She's always here when we are here in the office. Anyway, so that's our single bedroom and studio options. Does that seem appealing to you at all? Do you want to keep those in mind? And yes, they are 1 bathroom, of course. It's not like a shared bathroom situation. Okay. And then let's see. So, next up, we do have some 2 bedroom options available. And the most common one that we have is our 2 bedroom, and it's a 2 bathroom as well. It's quite popular. And let's see, those are also on all of our various floor levels. Trying to see how many we have available. Let's see. Of course, my computer is moving slow. One thing that's really nice about the floor plan of the 2 bedroom is that the 2 bedrooms are not right next door to each other. I know it's rare to find that in an apartment or in a townhouse, things like that. A lot of the time, the bedrooms have like a shared wall, which with a roommate situation can be challenging, especially if you have different work schedules, things like that, different, lifestyles, times that you're, awake, trying to sleep. It can definitely cause challenges. So it's nice to have them be, they're actually like across the apartment from each other, which is pretty nice. I do really enjoy that feature. And then actually, the bathrooms are in between, which is not too bad, unless your roommate takes very loud showers. Yeah, then it could be a problem. But let's see here. So those are. Let me get this all pulled up. Okay, so those are anywhere between 1,060 to 1,085 square feet. We do have 10 of them available. Again, you're coming in at a really good time. We actually have had a lot of folks moving out. So for those, let me see. I believe I can pull up the floor plan here. So the way that these are set up is actually quite fascinating. The walls are a bit slanted. Yeah, not not vertically slanted, but the way the buildings are designed is everything's a little bit at like an angle. So there's a hallway that separates the two bedrooms, but then there's also the two bathrooms in the middle. So the master bedroom does have a master bathroom, of course. It's got a closet, it's got, shower, it's got toilet, sink, all the amenities you would expect in a master bathroom. Then the other bedroom does have a shared bathroom. So it is a bathroom that you would need to access through the hallway, but it's just right outside the door. So it's not like a long walk to the bathroom for the second bedroom. It is also a floor plan that when you first walk in, the kitchen is either going to be on your left or your right, depending on the orientation of the apartment itself. Now, this one in particular is quite fascinating for a couple of reasons. We actually have some availability in our top floor for these. Now, the thing that's interesting about those is the top floor units, and this goes for our single bedrooms as well, they all have vaulted ceilings. Yeah, so it's got a really high ceiling. It's really, really beautiful. And there's a lot you can do with the space to really make it yours, which is wonderful in a unit like that. So then we do have 10 of those available. And let's see. So for those, I'm trying to see how many top floor units we have. Yeah, I would want to check out the top floor unit. So let's see. We do have, let's see, out of the 10 that we have, it looks like 2 of them are top floor units, but they're both really great locations. One of them is actually right near the driveway into and out of the complex. So it's easy if you need to come and go. You don't have to drive through, speed bumps, traffic, things like that. You can actually just kind of dip in, dip out, which is pretty nice. Now, the other one that we have is a bit of a different situation. So that one that we have available is actually above our show unit for the one bedroom. I know we do keep a show unit just in case like people want to visualize what it could look like with, items in the space, things like that. It's also helpful if we ever have like a virtual tour. We can show like what a furnished unit looks like. But we do try to, whenever we can, have people see the actual unit they're moving into. It's just not always feasible depending on, cleaning and things like that. But yeah, it's a really nice area. It's actually that one, great question. So the unit that is above the model unit, That one is actually more towards the middle of the complex. It's actually not too far from where we're at now with the office. There's like a nice little walkway. There's the mailboxes in between, but not a lot of like units in between. It does have parking out front of the unit, and there is usually an extra visitor space because there's, no one actually living in the unit below you, which is pretty nice. So let's see. So for that one, they are both the same price, which is nice. So you would get to choose between which one that you would want. So let's see here. Okay, so yeah, if you were looking to do either one, either the unit like out on the corner, we'll call it, or the above model unit, you would be able to do either. Yeah, which is pretty nice. I love that. So let's see here. Da-da-da-da-da. And for those, the rent is the same, doesn't change depending on where you're at in the building. And one thing that we do also to keep rent costs in a reasonable area is we look at the median income for the area for the whole county and average our rent based on that. So if the median income only goes up a little bit, our rent only goes up a little bit per year, things like that. We do also publish those findings if we do ever have a rent increase to say, hey, here's why the rent is increasing. It's the cost of this, cost of that. We actually break it down for you, which is more than most places. Yeah. A lot of places are kind of like, you'll get what we give you and call it good. Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't agree with, but that's why I work here, not there. So, okay, so those are our 2 bedrooms. Those are pretty interesting to you. Perfect. So we do also have we have 2 of the 3 bedroom options available. So the way that these are laid out, they're very similar to the 2 bedroom, but of course, a little different because they have a 3rd bedroom. So the way these are set up is they're a 3-bed, 2-bathroom. And of course, I did want to let you know that all of our units actually have a washer and dryer included. That is something that is on our amenities list. Not sure if you saw that, but it is included. So the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit, it still has the same setup as the 2-bedroom unit, where there's a master bedroom and then a different bedroom on the other end of the hallway. There's a master bathroom, a regular bathroom. But then what you see is off to either your right or your left, again, depending on how the unit itself is orientated, you'll have your kitchen as soon as you walk in. But off past that, so a little bit farther down where your normal living room area is, there's actually a 3rd bedroom over there. It's actually really secluded, which is nice. So that way, again, the bedrooms don't share a wall, which super helpful, especially if you're moving in with roommates or you have, smaller children, things like that. Even if you're, living by yourself, want a 2nd bedroom to be your office, it's nice to have that little separation. So, all right. So, let's see. Okay, so what else do we need to go over? Let's go over the actual application. So, what we would be looking at here is we do need to go over some just kind of general information for you, or from you, I should say, some of your personal information. I know it's my least favorite part of the job, too. So, I know we've got your first and last name, all that good stuff. Let me ask you this. Would you rather fill out this information either online or written down with me, or we could type it out here? Yeah. Personally, I recommend we can just do it online here, but that's up to you. So let's get this moving. So I will enter in the information that we need to essentially hold a unit for you. That way, if you decide to change your mind, you don't have to pay the fee or anything like that. There is, of course, a rental application fee, but it is applied to your deposit. So if you do end up renting with us, things like that, you can actually just apply that to your deposit. Otherwise, it is an application fee of $35. I know. I don't love it either. But, okay, let's get started here. So, okay, we got your date of birth. And then I will need your driver's license. And then I can just enter in the information here. So let me grab that. Okay. That's a pretty nice license picture. I know mine's terrible. I know, but yours is nice. It looks like you, which is good. Okay, so we've got your license number, and then actually I can just scan it here, and it should auto-populate, but it's gonna take a second. So let me do that here really quick. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's loading on my system here. Okay, perfect. And now we don't necessarily need your previous addresses. We do ask a couple of general questions. So, have you ever been evicted from a previous residence? And if so, under what circumstances? Yeah, was it like a loss of job? Couldn't keep up with bills, things like that? Okay. Yeah, most people haven't, but bad luck happens to everybody. We try not to be too hard on it. Okay, let's see. Have you ever had a formal complaint lodged against you for any kind of noise ordinance violation, animal control violation? Really, any formal complaint lodged against you, not necessarily being put under arrest, but a formal complaint from the police, your job, anything like that? Okay, perfect. And then let's see, do you have any pets? Okay, good to know. So our pet policy is that we do require a refundable pet deposit. So what that means is we require a deposit of $200 per animal, but it is refundable. That is contingent on the state of the unit when you are leaving. However, if you hire a cleaning company to come in, chances are we'd never know you had a pet there. I'm just saying that you should disclose a pet just for, safety purposes. If there's a fire, never wish that. But if there was a fire, we'd want to make sure that we get everyone evacuated, and that includes your pets. But we do have that. However, the pet deposit can be waived if it's like a service animal, things like that. All we require is a doctor's note, whatever the documentation you have indicating that it's a service animal. That's all we need. Yeah, nothing too crazy. So that's our pet policy. Okay, so we've got that. Let's see, what other questions do I need to go over? Oh, also, do you have a vehicle and do you want a parking spot to go with your apartment? Okay. Yeah, one parking space is standard for the units themselves. So you will get an assigned parking spot whether you have a vehicle or not. It's up to you whether you choose to use it, but it is yours. So if you don't have a vehicle, There's not really a discount for not having it, but it is handy. And we don't allow the parking of motorhomes in our vehicle spaces. They're just not big enough. We also don't allow the parking of trailers. Those would be something that we have specific, like trailer parking for, which is another space that you would have to lease while you're with us. But again, that's a pretty specific thing to have. But if you need one, we do have it available. So let's see, moving on. Let's see, I think that's just about everything. Anything else will be covered on the online application should you choose to go with us. That's where we'll get your that's where we'll get things like your social security number, we'll do a background check, things like that. Yeah, we do a light background check, as we call it, just very surface level, just to make sure that, everything's up to code. Yeah, and then as far as background checks, things like that, we don't do a credit check unless, there is always that asterisk, unless there is an issue with your credit, or you've had an eviction, or if there is something outstanding on your background check. Like, for instance, if we do a background check and see that you filed for bankruptcy, we may do a credit check just to make sure that everything is on the up and up, but we won't do that until we ask you. So we'll say, hey, we found this on your, background check. Can you explain it? Things like that. So it's not necessarily something that we're going to automatically do. I know a lot of folks are nervous that, we're going to pull your credit and ruin it. And I would be nervous too. So I don't blame you there. But that is how our credit check process works. Again, great question. Now, let's see. As far as move-in dates, it would be something that we could have you moving in as soon as the first of the month. We've got plenty of time to make that happen. Now, I will say, if you wanted to move in sooner, we can prorate your rent. So that way, for this month, say you wanted to move in like the last week of the month, we could do that. You would just pay essentially that last week's of rent. We do also require a deposit. Of course, the deposit is your first month's rent plus a $500 deposit. Yeah, we don't make you put down 2 months' rent. I know. That was a struggle for me when I was getting my first apartment, was every place wanted 2 months of rent, and that is a lot for one person to come up with, especially in this economy. So that is where we are at on that. Yeah, it's just your first month's rent plus a $500 deposit. Yep, nothing too crazy. Okay, so moving on. I think that's just about everything that I have. I'll share some of our amenities with you. So let me go over the amenities here. Let's see. Do we have a list? Let me just pull it up. We have a business center, which is essentially a computer room that also has like a printer, fax machine, things like that. We have a dog park, which is very nice. It's actually like a fenced in little field. It has like little doggy scoop bags, that way in case you need that. We also have a clubhouse, which includes a lounge area. It is not a fully stocked bar. However, if you did want to rent it for an event, you could have like a bartender on staff. We do also have a fire pit in the summer. It is beautiful and it is perfect for making s'mores. We have 2 heated resort style swimming pools. We have a 24-hour fitness center. You actually use your key to get in, which is very nice, helps with security. We have garages available. We also have motorhome parking or RV parking available should you need it. High-speed internet access, of course. We have monthly events. We'll actually send you a little social calendar if you want to get in on that. We also offer moving services. So if you have like a company that, if you want to use a moving company, you can. We can also recommend local ones for you. We are a non smoking community. Yes. So if you are a smoker, we do recommend that you do actually have to leave the property. So that is kind of a hindrance. However, if you are a smoker who's looking to quit, could be a good fit because you got to go the extra walk to go smoke. I'm not a smoker, so we do also have some outdoor grilling stations. I know it's a non-smoking community, but we got grilling stations. Make it make sense. We do also have package lockers, which is great. That way, if you get something delivered to your apartment, it doesn't actually just sit on your porch. It goes to a locker that's actually for you. We have on-site management. That's me. We also have covered parking. We have our resident lounge, which is similar to the clubhouse, but a little different. We have a sauna. We have, let's see, we have an updater system to where when you get logged into our system, it'll just automatically update your information month to month. So if we make changes, things like that. We also have recently renovated within the last 3 years. So we have quite spacious pantries. We have, the vaulted ceilings that we talked about, but we have stainless steel appliances, wood burning fireplaces, ceiling fans. Everything's been replaced and renovated within the last 3 years, which is pretty nice. So I definitely recommend it. I hope that, we see you moving in. I hope to see you coming in and being here with us. I'm sure we would love to have you. And if you need any help or have any questions, I'll make sure that I give you my card. And yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, so I really hope that we see you moving in with us. I'd really love that. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. The phone number on my card, you can actually text that number. I know I'm not a phone call person either. So you can text me any questions you have if you're having trouble with like the application or you have questions about it. Definitely don't be afraid to reach out. I'm happy to help. Yeah, I know that it can be really stressful, so I'm happy to help any way I can. Yeah. Of course. So thank you so much for coming in today. I won't take up too much more of your time. But if you'd like, let's go see the units, okay? Perfect. I'll go show you around. Let's go.